Some places on Earth seem almost designed to stop human progress. Frozen plateaus where the air is thin and every mile becomes a challenge. Vast deserts where sand can erase every trace. Deep canyons, towering mountains, and crowded cities that demand faster, smarter ways to move. But what happens when people refuse to turn back? In today's journey, we travel across China to discover some of its most astonishing transportation and engineering projects. From railways built on the roof of the world, to high-speed trains in futuristic cities, and bridges suspended high above clouds and canyons. Each project tells a story of challenge, creativity, and hope. The hope that no matter how difficult the landscape may be, humanity can still find a way forward. Tian Long Mountain Road near the city of Taiyuan in Shanxi province. This mountain route begins where urban life starts to fade, then climbs into a landscape of valleys, cliffs, and open sky. It is not simply a road built to carry cars from one place to another. It is designed so the journey itself feels like part of the destination. The route connects the city with the natural surroundings of Tian Long Mountain Park, creating a direct passage from busy streets into a more rugged and scenic environment. Along the way, travelers move through mountain views, tunnel sections, and elevated curves that make the road feel as if it is going deeper into the terrain, not just passing across it. Its most recognizable feature is the triple-level spiral viaduct. From above, the structure appears to wrap around the mountain like a coiled dragon, allowing vehicles to climb gradually instead of facing a steep and dangerous ascent. This design makes the road practical, but also visually striking. Wuhan suspended monorail. In Wuhan, one of China's most important inland cities, the future of public transportation is not hidden beneath the ground. Instead, it moves through the air, suspended above the streets, hanging beneath a rail line in a way that feels almost like a scene from a science fiction film. This is the Wuhan suspended monorail, often called the Wuhan SkyTrain. It is different from a normal metro system, and it is not quite like a traditional elevated railway either. Rather than running on top of the tracks, the train hangs below them, allowing each car to move smoothly through the city while the traffic continues below. In crowded urban areas, this kind of design can make a real difference. Roads are often packed with vehicles, and building underground lines can be expensive, complicated, or difficult because of the existing city structure. By using the space above the road, The suspended monorail offers Wuhan a completely different way to think about movement, transportation, and the future of city travel. Fuxing train is not simply a faster way to travel. It is a moving symbol of how far China has pushed modern rail. Running at commercial speeds of about 217 miles per hour, it ranks among the fastest conventional wheeled trains in regular service, carrying more than 1,200 passengers in some long train-set configurations across vast distances with remarkable control. What makes Fuxing impressive is not speed alone, but the system built around it. Dedicated high-speed corridors, long viaducts, mountain tunnels, advanced signaling, and trains designed to perform across very different climates. In northern China, cold-weather Fuxing models have been engineered to handle deep winter, ice, and snow, while other routes push through heat, wind, rain, and long stretches of difficult terrain. At this scale, high-speed rail is no longer just transportation. It becomes an entire national machine of timing, engineering, and coordination. To keep a train moving this fast, the route cannot simply wind around every obstacle. So engineers build straighter paths through bridges, tunnels, cuttings, and carefully controlled track geometry. That is what makes Fuxing powerful. It does not only connect cities faster, it changes how distance feels, turning journeys that once seemed long and exhausting into a smooth passage across the country. Taklamakan Desert Highway. Across the heart of Xinjiang, this road cuts through one of the largest and most unforgiving sand deserts on Earth. It does not follow a valley, a coastline, or any natural corridor that makes travel easier. Instead, it runs directly through the Taklamakan, a desert long known for extreme heat, shifting dunes, and a deep feeling of isolation that seems to stretch in every direction. For centuries, this was a desert that travelers tried to go around, not a place they dared to cross through the middle. Caravans moving along the ancient Silk Road stayed close to the edges, where oasis towns could offer water, shelter, and at least some chance of survival. But the interior was a different world. Wind could erase tracks in a matter of hours. Sand could bury paths completely, and the distance itself could become a danger. The highway changed the way people moved through this landscape. Stretching for hundreds of kilometers, it created a direct road across a place that once felt almost impossible to cross by vehicle. On both sides, endless dunes rise and fall like waves, making the pavement look like a thin black line drawn across a vast golden sea. Duge Bridge high above the Bailong River Canyon, the Duge Bridge cuts across one of the most dramatic landscapes in southwestern China. This is not the kind of bridge that simply crosses a river. It crosses a deep mountain gap where steep cliffs, mist, and rugged terrain once made travel slow and difficult. Before the bridge was built, moving through this region meant following long mountain roads that twisted around valleys and slopes. The distance was not only measured in kilometers, but in time, effort, and danger. The Duge Bridge changed that by creating a direct path across the canyon, turning a difficult journey into a much faster crossing. What makes it unforgettable is its height. Suspended above the Baipan River, the bridge stands among the highest in the world, rising even higher than the Eiffel Tower and New York's One World Trade Center. From a distance, it can look almost unreal, a thin line of engineering floating between mountains. In a landscape shaped by cliffs and clouds, the Duge Bridge shows how infrastructure can do more than connect two sides. It can challenge geography itself. Yaki Expressway. Across the mountains of Sichuan province, the Yaki Expressway cuts through one of the most difficult road landscapes in China. This is not a simple highway placed across flat and easy ground. It is a mountain route built through deep valleys, steep slopes, long tunnels, and high viaducts, where the road often feels as if it is climbing straight into the clouds. The expressway connects Ya'an with Xichang, creating a much faster passage through terrain that was once slow, dangerous, and extremely difficult to cross. Before this road was built, traveling through this region meant depending on winding mountain routes shaped by cliffs, changing weather, and sudden changes in elevation. A journey here could feel less like simply driving forward, and more like struggling against the mountains themselves. What makes the Yaki Expressway so remarkable is the way it does not simply search for the easiest path. Instead, it cuts through mountains with tunnels and crosses valleys with bridges. Along the route, hundreds of bridges and viaducts help the highway continue above rivers, ravines, and unstable ground. Siduhe Bridge deep in the mountains of Hubei province. The Siduhe Bridge crosses a canyon so wide and so deep that the road seems to disappear into the clouds. This is not just a bridge over a river. It is a suspended highway stretched across one of China's most difficult mountain landscapes. The bridge carries the G50 Shanghai-Chongqing Expressway across the Sidu River Valley near Yesangguan, creating a direct route through terrain that once forced travelers onto long, twisting mountain roads. Instead of following the shape of the valley, the bridge cuts straight across it, turning a slow and difficult passage into a much faster connection. What makes Siduhe unforgettable is its height. The roadway stands about 496 meters, or 1,627 feet, above the valley below. making it one of the highest suspension bridges ever built. From a distance, the deck looks almost weightless, hanging between cliffs with mist moving beneath it. Even its construction carried a sense of drama because the canyon was too deep and difficult for normal cable setting methods. Engineers used rockets to send the first pilot cables across the gap. That detail alone makes the bridge feel less like ordinary infrastructure and more like a mission against geography. In this remote mountain region, the Siduhe Bridge shows how engineering can cross places that once seemed almost impossible to reach. If the Fuxing train represents the peak of traditional rail, the Shanghai maglev abandons the wheel entirely. Running between Longyang Road Station and Pudong International Airport, it turns a 19-mile airport transfer into a journey of just over 7 minutes, using magnetic levitation instead of wheel-on-rail contact. At its fastest commercial service, the train has reached nearly 268 miles per hour, faster than any conventional high-speed train in regular operation. What makes the system so different is the separation between the vehicle and the guideway. Instead of rolling on steel tracks, the train uses powerful electromagnetic forces to lift itself just above the guideway and propel forward, removing the usual friction between wheels and rails. Without that mechanical friction, the ride becomes remarkably smooth, and the familiar grind of metal against metal is replaced by the quieter sound of air moving around the train. For engineers, building this line required a completely different kind of precision, because the concrete and steel guideways had to be cast and aligned with extreme accuracy to keep levitation stable at extraordinary speed. The Shanghai maglev was built as a pioneer project, bringing high-speed magnetic levitation into commercial service at a time when the technology had rarely moved beyond demonstration lines. Today, it remains one of the most famous commercial maglev lines in the world. It does not only move passengers between the city and the airport, it shows what happens when engineers remove friction from the equation, allowing a heavy commuter train to almost fly just above the ground. Above the deep Huajiang Canyon in Guizhou Province, the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge rises into a landscape where mountains, mist, and empty space dominate everything. This is not only a bridge across a canyon, it is one of the clearest examples of how China builds through terrain that once seemed almost impossible to cross. The bridge spans the Baipan River in a region known for steep karst mountains and dramatic valleys. For generations, travel here was shaped by the land itself. Roads had to twist around cliffs, descend into valleys, and climb back out again. A short distance on the map could become a long and exhausting journey in real life. The Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge changes that completely. Standing about 625 meters, or more than 2,000 feet, above the canyon floor, it is recognized as the world's highest bridge. What once took hours through mountain roads can now be crossed in only a few minutes. Its main span stretches about 1,420 meters, carrying traffic across a vast gap of air rather than forcing it through the valley below. From a distance, the bridge looks almost unreal, a thin line suspended between cliffs, with clouds drifting beneath the roadway. In Guizhou, a province famous for extreme bridge engineering, the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge feels like a new landmark of ambition. It does more than connect two sides of a canyon. It turns one of nature's greatest barriers into a passage through the sky. Bailong Elevator, Zhangjiajie. Built onto the side of a quartzite sandstone cliff in Zhangjiajie, the Bailong Elevator turns what could have been a long mountain climb into a dramatic vertical journey through one of the most surreal landscapes in China. Instead of spending hours walking along steep forest trails, climbing stone steps, and moving slowly through difficult mountain paths, visitors are carried upward from the valley floor toward the high plateau above. The experience feels very different from a normal ride in an elevator, because the moment it begins to rise, the mountains, cliffs, and forest seem to open around the glass cabin. The structure reaches about 326 meters, or 1,070 feet, which makes it the tallest outdoor elevator in the world. Its glass-sided cabins move along the face of the cliff, giving passengers a direct view of the sandstone pillars that have made Zhangjiajie famous around the world. These rock formations rise sharply from the forest below, creating a landscape that feels almost unreal, as if the mountains were standing in layers above the mist. As the elevator climbs higher, the valley slowly falls away. The trees become smaller. The cliffs begin to spread wider, and the view expands into a sea of peaks stretching across the distance. What makes the Bailong elevator remarkable is not only its height, but also the powerful contrast between ancient natural stone and modern engineering. Part of the elevator system is hidden inside the mountain itself, while the exposed upper section rises along the cliff face like a strong steel frame attached directly to the rock. This combination makes the structure feel both practical and astonishing. It is built to move people efficiently, but at the same time, it places them face to face with the scale of the mountains in a way that few other structures can. Shiziguan Floating Bridge, Hubei. In the mountains of Hubei province, the Shiziguan Floating Bridge creates one of the most unusual driving experiences in China. This is not a bridge that rises high above the river on massive concrete pillars, steel towers, or heavy supports. Instead, it rests directly on the surface of the Qinghai River, giving visitors the strange feeling that they are driving straight across the water. From the moment a car begins to move onto the bridge, the experience feels different from an ordinary road, because the river is not just something below the structure. It becomes part of the journey itself. The bridge is located in Shuanan County, inside the scenic Shiziguan area near Enshi. Around it, green mountains rise on both sides, while the calm river bends gently through the valley. Because of this peaceful setting, the bridge does not look like a typical piece of large infrastructure. It does not feel heavy, harsh, or separated from the landscape. From above, the route appears like a narrow wooden path curving softly through the middle of the water, almost as if someone had drawn a road across the river without disturbing the scenery around it. What makes the structure especially interesting is the way it is supported. Beneath the deck, floating pontoons hold the road on the surface, allowing it to move with the river instead of standing rigidly against it. That design is what makes the crossing feel so unusual. Cars and pedestrians seem to glide across the water, while small ripples spread outward on both sides, turning a simple crossing into something surprisingly graceful. Unlike ordinary railways built across cities or plains, the Qinghai-Tibet Railway crosses a place where even breathing becomes part of the engineering problem. Stretching about 1,215 miles from Xining to Lhasa, it climbs onto the Tibetan Plateau and reaches its highest point at Tanggula Pass, about 16,640 feet above sea level. At that height, the air is thin enough to affect passengers inside the train, so the carriages are equipped with oxygen supply systems to make the journey possible across the roof of the world. But altitude is only one challenge. Long sections of the line pass over permafrost, where frozen ground can shift, melt, and weaken if the railway is not carefully stabilized. That means the project was not simply about connecting two cities. It was about laying steel tracks across cold, thin air, frozen soil, and one of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth. What makes this railway powerful is that it turned the Tibetan Plateau from a remote frontier into a route passengers could cross by rail.